Alexa, will you make me an omelet? Wouldn't that be awesome? They could just make it for you. But since they can't, I'm here to show you how. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a restaurant quality omelet in your own kitchen. This is important for you to know because let's be real about it. AI can't cook your breakfast, and everybody loves breakfast. I mean, you can have breakfast for dinner, and who knows, maybe somebody you're interested in might find it attractive that you can cook awesome breakfast. Hey guys, I'm Josh, and I'm qualified to talk because I used to be a breakfast cook at a pretty popular nationwide franchise chain that specializes in breakfast 24 hours a day. I also used to work as a sous chef in a five-star fine dining restaurant in Dublin. Well, Dublin, California. Today, you're going to learn about the tools you're going to need to create a perfect omelet. I'm also going to show you a technique to practice before you crack a single shell, and then I'm going to show you how to cook the perfect omelet at home. All right, so let's get started. First, we're going to talk about the tools you're going to need to cook a perfect omelet, and that starts with a good Teflon-coated nonstick egg pan. This is a 7-inch Teflon-coated nonstick pan that you can find at just about any store that carries kitchenware. Now, what's special about this pan, not only because of the Teflon surface, but it's also got a gradual slope up to the edge of the pan, which is going to make it very easy for flipping eggs. So take my word for it, having the right pan is very important. Last week, I couldn't find this thing. So I tried cooking omelets in this. And you can see the sides are squared. The cooking surface is very low to the edge of the pan. And I tried to flip an omelet in this, and unfortunately, it ended up on the floor. So make sure you have the right tools when you start the job. Now, besides the pan, you're also going to need a rubber spatula, a wire whisk, and a plain kitchen bowl. So now that you know about the tools you're going to need to cook an omelet, let's talk about a technique to practice before you crack a single shell. This was the same technique that was taught to me when I was learning how to be a breakfast cook. Before you try making an omelet, it's important that you learn how to flip the omelet shell. What I was taught in the restaurant industry was you take a piece of Texas toast and you put it down in your pan. What this does is it gets you used to what is going to happen when you try to flip your omelet shell. So what you want to do is get this down to the edge by tilting the pan downward, and with a quick flip of the wrist, you just want to try to flip the bread over. This takes practice, but once you do it, you should be able to flip an omelet shell inside the pan. You're probably not going to get this on your first time. It took me 3 days to learn how to flip a piece of toast in the pan before I could start moving on to eggs. I was a dishwasher at the time, and the lead cook showed me this trick. So I recommend you trying this trick for a while and practice before you actually crack the eggs into the pan and attempt it. So just practice that technique a few times until you're able to do it properly, and then you should be able to move on to cracking eggs in your pan. So now that we've talked about the tools you're going to need to cook a perfect omelet and a technique to practice before you crack a single shell, let's talk about making the actual omelet. So to make an omelet, we need to start with making the shell. So we're going to start with 3 eggs. We're going to crack them into a bowl and add a splash of milk and whip them with a whisk. You know, over the years, I've cooked a lot of breakfast. I've cooked breakfast for Alicia Silverstone, who was a famous actress. I also cooked breakfast and catered the birthday party of MC Hammer, who, those of you who don't know, was like a famous 90s rapper. So I've already sauteed some red and green peppers and ham and butter, shredded some cheddar cheese, and made some country gravy so that we can focus less on the ingredients that are going into our omelet and more on the difficult part, flipping the omelet shell. All right, once again, we are going to make sure our pan's heated up, and I recommend using oil if you're going to cook an omelet. So what you want to do is just add a little bit of oil to your pan and make sure it's enough to fully coat your pan. And then we're going to add our beaten eggs. Want to really make sure you get all the edges of the pan because flipping an omelet is a little bit more difficult. And add the eggs. Now what you're going to do is you want to start taking a rubber spatula and just kind of moving the cooked parts of the eggs away so you can allow the liquid to move towards the cooking surface. This will allow your eggs to cook thoroughly without letting the bottom burn, and this will allow the liquid that's building up on top to touch the cooking surface. Once most of the liquid has cooked off the top of the omelet shell, we're going to use the flipping method that I taught you with the Texas toast. We're going to just roll the omelet shell down towards the bottom of the pan, give it a quick flip, and you may want to remove it from the burner a little bit, but we are going to take the omelet shell. We're going to put a little of the sauteed ham and red bell peppers with the cheddar cheese, and we're going to put those towards the front, and this will allow you to roll the omelet off and flip it over like that. And then we're just going to add a little bit more cheese and a little bit of the country gravy. And what the heck, a little bit more cheese. And you got a perfect omelet. Yeah, I know. I make it look really easy. But today, you learned the tools that you'll need to cook a picture perfect omelet at home. You also learned a technique to practice before you start cracking eggs. And you also learned how to put together the picture perfect omelet. So that's all there is to it, to cook a perfect omelet in your house. AI isn't going to do it for you. You can't have any of mine. And it's about time for me to go eat. So I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and get out of my kitchen about now. But I hope you have a nice day and you learned something.